NCAA. Let's have we seen any? Has Charlie Stramel played yet?
No, he's still hurt.
Fun.
He played the first 2 or 3 games, maybe. Still injured, so has not come back yet. Again, I probably could actually figure out just what the injury is, or like how serious it is, but I just have not. But still waiting for his return to the lineup. I would say hopefully soon, but I'll probably say that every time.
Well, we still haven't gotten him a fake AARP card, so probably not happening. Yeah. How much of Jack Peart have you watched?
Decent amount. He looked really good this weekend against Miami. Scored his first goal of the year. Added assist to the game before. Super mobile again in transition too. Like he is an absolute animal. Like I've said this before about him. Like his stretch passes are ungoddamn believable. But like he doesn't overdo it. Like he doesn't just like there's some guys who have done this in the past. Like I mean, Carson Lambos used to do the same thing where he was just like, it looks cool, so I'm gonna go for it. But when he does it, he's always catching teams in the middle of a change and creating scoring chances. And I mean, it is tape to tape. So he is just such a smart defenseman too. With those plays, but like again, not doing the thing he was doing his freshman year where he's just like, all right, I'll walk the blue line and throw the puck at the back wall. Hopefully it bounces out for a scoring chance. This year too, he's like, even the games that I've seen, he's actually activating more down the boards, creating more offensive zone time for them, not just like patrolling the blue line, definitely way more involved. So a very weird start to the season for St. Cloud. I'm not really used to it, but they kicked the shit out of Miami the other day. So we'll see if that kind of gives them that the boost they need there. But Peart looks, again, like last year he was awesome, but a big like step up from his freshman year, and this year he's kind of picking up right where he left off. He plays a ton for them too. Like he's out there like every other shift. So solid start for him. And again, just a very, very good weekend for him and St. Cloud in general. All
right. Got to throw this up from Cosgrove. Just always enjoyable. Fake IDs for the Badger hockey team are from the Eisenhower era. Love that. Have you seen much stuff from one Benoit, who we once thought might be Benoit?
Yeah, he's not going to get on that North Dakota team. Like he is very much a third pair defense, but like I saw a little bit of the games against BU. I mean, to be fair, he was on the ice. He was playing well. Like, again, he's another guy that he's pretty aware of what type of defenseman he is, that he doesn't try to do too much more than he's capable of. So just a steady presence. And my God, is he physical? Like, he throws some nasty hits, which is exactly what North Dakota likes. Like, I think in a year or two, they'll look at him probably similar to how they would use like Tyler Clevin, where he was kind of just like an absolute nuclear deterrent, like would just kill guys every time he looked over the boards, but defended very well. And like, even he picked up some offense as the years went on, but like
will he also it's interesting with him though. Will he also play with a stud in North Dakota that will get him drafted by the same team? Possibly?
Can't say he will. Yeah, but he's gonna be tough to figure out. Yeah.
Maybe the Wild are gonna draft a stud that he plays with in like a year or two.
Yeah, who knows?
There we go.
Could happen.
Path has been paved.
It's gonna be tough this year for him. Like he really just like with that team, how loaded they are and how many defensemen they have. Like he just has.
He's a 3 or 4 year guy, so who cares?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Let's see. But
any other college
guy that I did want to like, oh my God, what a disaster of a sound was. This is insane. What a terrible, terrible day. What a terrible time I'm having with this goddamn internet.
I don't hear the sound coming through, so that's good. Your video is just super sketchy. So brutal. But that's okay.
All right, I just like won't move my head. But the one guy I was excited to talk about here that there you go. He's already
Who's
think
he?
we're halfway to his
This
point
is a
total.
podcast.
Rieger.
This is a podcast.
Sorry. Rieger Lorenz is playing amazing. Like, so last year I think he scored in his first or second game. It was like, here we go. Like, this is the guy that's going to light it up. Obviously, with that loaded Denver team, I think he got hurt at the beginning of the year too. Never really found his way back in. Was getting scratched. Was on the fourth line. Now he's right in that middle six, and he's producing. Like, I think. Let me pull it up again. He had an assist on Friday. From what I was watching in Game 2 against Colorado College, like all over the ice. Didn't get on the score sheet, but looked dangerous with the puck. But a completely different hockey player to last year, where he was looking like just trying to fight it, staying in the lineup. Now he's approaching these games as a pivotal part of that team, and he's getting rewarded more often than not. I think he's only got two of the 8 games he's played. I think he doesn't have a point in, maybe 3. But I mean, he's making plays. One of the assists he has, I can't remember if it was last weekend or the weekend before. No, it must have been 2 weeks ago, because I don't think they played last weekend. But goes in the forecheck, wins the puck back, shields it, and then just puts one out front. I think when he was playing in Okotoks, he was just doing whatever the fuck he wanted on the ice. He really didn't have to work that hard for his offense. So I'm sure that league going to play for Denver is obviously going to be tough that first year. But now it looks like he's just kind of figured it out, and kind of knew he was going to have to change a little bit, but he's working super hard and he's getting rewarded for that work. But he looks like a completely different hockey player. And again, just the fact that he's putting up points now is so good, I'm sure, for him, just mentally. But he just looks like he's playing with confidence. Last year, there were times where it just looked like he was just watching the play too, where he was either he was thinking too much or just could not keep up with what was going on. And this year, a lot of times, he's got the puck and he's legitimately just dictating the offense. So definitely, obviously an improvement, but very good to see for you. I was curious to see how it would go, because last year was it was bad, but then there were times where it was oh my god, how he doesn't look like a player that would have been drafted, never, let alone second round draft pick. But he looks great this year. Again, he's already got 5 points in 8 games for them.
I forgot he was a second.
I know. But he looks good, dude. Very happy for his start in Denver. Second? Yeah, exactly. That's why
I thought he was a 4 or a 5, honestly.
No,
if you had asked, if you had a quiz question before that and said, what round was he drafted? I would have been 5th.
Yeah, that was the Philip Johansson compensatory second round pick. That was who they took. Rieger Lorenz.
Okay.
He looks great.
Still better than Philip Johansson.
Very happy for him. Yeah.
Oh, we got one that we might have to bounce back to, Z. Or is this Iowa?
Oh my god, this goddamn fucking internet will lose my mind. No, he's at Harvard. He was. I have him last. What?
Is Healey in Iowa?
No, he's at Harvard.
Harvard. Let's talk.
All right, we'll go to him then. So
we're gonna do.
First of all, so Harvard's their schedule is so annoying because they start 3 or 4 weeks after everybody else every year. It's so annoying. But their first very funny start to their season. Game 1, Dartmouth, Healey, by the way. Well, obviously this is what we're talking about, but either way, their first 2 games they tied. And I was looking at it, it's that just looks so weird for a fucking college hockey. They're 0-2. And then they got the shit kicked out of them this weekend at Quinnipiac. My God, 6-0, I think. But naturally, with the guys that graduated and moved on from Harvard, Healey's elevating that lineup. So he's on that first power play unit. He's so fun. I said this before, I don't think I've ever seen him stand still on the ice. He's just always in motion, which makes him such a dangerous player. His first goal in the USHL last year or 2 years ago was just insane. He did a full lap around the offensive zone, ends up backdoor himself and somehow sniped over the shoulder. but he's doing the same thing this year. Like, he just looks like such a confident hockey player. So obviously we've seen a lot less of him. I think he's only played 3 games so far. Yeah, they've played 3 games, so limited sample size so far, but definitely stepping up with those guys that left. He's taking advantage of the role and looks dangerous every time he's got the puck. Harvard's going to be an interesting team to watch this year because, like, obviously they lost a couple of defensemen, but they also lost guys like Matt Coronado front. They've got some big losses, so we'll see how they do. But Healey looks great, and like, again, I've said this before, like, he's just a very fun defenseman to watch because he is, like, we talked about David Hunt being a rover at times, right? Like, Healey is a little bit more reined in, but at times can be like, he'll pick the puck up behind his own net, and you look away for like a second and a half. All of a sudden, he's like forechecking. You're like, where the fuck did you come? What are you doing? But he looks great. So
from our boy Flyer Voracek,
I've seen a lot less of him, but very fun.
He says, Hoppy, Healey was a 4th round pick, which might be who you were thinking of for Lorenz. Honestly, I think I flipped the 2 in my brain because I thought for sure Healey was like a 2nd. So that's apparently where my mix-up is. Yeah, I also like spaced on the fact that he's at Harvard. Healey is just out of my brain. So he'll probably turn out to be our best prospect, and it's going to be like, yep, I saw it coming.
Yeah. Yeah. There were times last year he was legit, like, he was just undeniable for Harvard. And then there were games where he would, make the same mistakes. The first game of the year they were playing, the second game they were playing Princeton. And by the way, Princeton was wearing like those they make the jerseys look like football jerseys with the big fucking numbers in the front. But they looked like the Broncos jersey. I was like, well, you probably don't want to use them, but that's all right.
Not a great one to emulate.
Find a different one, maybe. I don't know. But Healey got absolutely fucking popped. Like, bucket flying through the air. Just immediately got back up, threw the helmet back on, and kept playing. I was like, oh my God, if that was me, I would have absolutely disintegrated. But that's the one thing with him. He can definitely put himself in quite the vulnerable position. But generally speaking, just pops right back up. But again, it's just a smaller sample size for him so far since he's played literally 3 games so far. But he's got 2 assists in those 3 games. Definitely, he's like playing probably 5 minutes more a night than he was playing before. But so far, so good. I'm excited to see where his game goes this year, because definitely at a interesting spot at Harvard, just with all those losses and how different the fucking team is.
This is fair. All right, are we rolling out to Europe, or am I missing someone?
You're missing your boy. Not your boy, but your team. Jimmy Clark.
Oh, Jesus. It's funny. Like, he was one of the first ones I thought of before we recorded, and then I didn't take any notes because of how late we were, like, getting ready. But yes, Jimmy Clark, who, I'm sorry, that was a burner of a goal. Like, that was fun. But talk about just what he's done, because this is a guy coming into the season, for those that like aren't aware of the background, he was not going to be playing with the Gophers this year. Logan Cooley last minute decides to go to the NHL, which weird, like, good decision. Like, he's proven that makes sense.
Looks like it's a decent enough decision.
It sucks for me because, oh my God, would Minnesota be the indisputable number 1 team in college hockey right now? But that is no longer a possibility. But so out of nowhere, they're like, well, hey, kid, we need to fill a spot. You want to come up and do it? And I think he's done so admirably. But why don't you say in much better words what it is that he's brought so far and what you like about his game?
Well, like, it's funny that you put it like that, because that's legitimately how I've kind of, like, the games that I've watched of Minnesota, and from what I've seen from Jimmy Clark, I feel like every shift is like, that's the message he's getting. Like, hey, what do you say? Just go do that. And he's like, okay. He's just like, it's in the same way that I used to talk about like Caden Bank here, where it was pretty much like a very reliable player can basically do whatever you need him to do at a given, like, just in that moment. Very different player, but very just like reliable. I think he's won like 86% of his fucking faceoffs too. But every time he's on the ice, he's either making a quiet, solid play, the right play, whether it's defensively, offensively, whatever it is, or you're seeing the flashes. Like he got on the score sheet a couple weeks ago for the first time, and I think he went on like either he had like 2 or 3 game point streak, or he had points in 2 out of 3. I don't know. But very much a complimentary player on that team, but incredibly valuable, just like what he's bringing. Like he's I feel like he's given a little bit of everything. Which I feel like for a team like Minnesota is very welcoming, where it's just like, hey, we've got the big boys. If we need them to go, like we'll let them go. And then you've got a kid like Jimmy Clark, who's pretty much, all right, what do we need right now? All right, we can throw Jimmy Clark over the boards and just like get a job done. Whether it's like a big play or whether it's just something that like the big boys don't have to go do. Jimmy Clark's right there for it. He's just been very reliable. And like you said, it was out of nowhere, a very last minute thing that he was even going to go to fucking college. Like not only is he playing college hockey, but actually going to college like a year before he was planning on, out of fucking nowhere. So
that
like,
too.
Oh shit. Okay.
But the word you said, reliable, is key. And for me, again, just given the circumstances and everything that went on with him landing with the team, he has vastly exceeded my expectations. Did you like expect what he's done, or is this a surprise to you too?
I would say closer to surprise, like not like a complete surprise. I thought it would more depend on like what kind of ice time he was even getting. Like I thought if they would use him as much as they're using him now, I figured he would like fit in and do a job. But now, like, he's even showing a little bit more, like, especially offensively. Like, I said this before, like, he's a ridiculous passer of the puck. But there are times where he's, like, legitimately out there just, like, making plays. And then when they turn it over, he just goes to the forecheck, wins it back. Sustained offensive zone time, like, creates more scoring chances. Like, oh, shit. Yeah. But he, again, just
here by Mateo, though.
Reliable.
Could he develop into a Connor Dewar type?
Yeah, probably. I mean, like that's the kind of player you're probably looking at, where it's just like you can say that about a couple of the guys that they've got in the pool, right? So I could see, yeah, that type of player. I still think there's a decent, just with how good of a fucking passer this kid is. Like some of the plays he was making last year in the USHL were outrageous. And again, he's a 7th round fucking pick, so. I think there's a lot in there, and the fact that I cannot harp on this, like the fact that he fully was not anticipating going to college this year at all, and then out of nowhere he was, hey, Cooley left. Would you like to come in, like play for us? Obviously, they're not looking like you have to do exactly what Cooley did. Yeah. Anyone thought that would be the case, but he literally fully changed his entire plan. It just looks great.
So I got asked though, because I am not the like full out homer that's like, oh, draft all the Minnesota kids, whatever. Do you think there's something to be said for like 6th, 7th round, like taking the Flyers on more of a developmental kid from Minnesota makes sense, because this is a kid that can play past his contract expiration, right? Where he's technically a free agent and he's still going to want to play here.
Oh, for sure. I think there's definitely a draw there. Like, obviously, they took him because he's a very good fucking hockey player and was
right.
No, I know, but I'm saying, but it's like that is an added bonus.
Take a college kid in the 7th if you don't know like where they sit. When you know, like I look at Jimmy Clark, and that's a kid that's probably gonna play 4 years at Minnesota.
Yeah, and like you said, you're not worried, right? Yeah, you're not looking at like, you know, the Jack McBain situation or Marshall Warren looking at
people still get pissed about McBain, dude.
Yeah, the Gordie Howe the other night. But either way, very, very, very positive start for Jimmy Clark. We do have one more college hockey guy we got to talk about who has played fantastic. Just happened to oh shit! His father is in the NHL. You know the guy.
His father's in the NHL. Shout out Michael Russo. Yes. So the grandson of
yeah, exactly.
Wait, what was it? Because didn't Russo like say that like Pionk was his son or something? Or
Yeah,
it's because Pionk is your draft son. So I don't remember what the dynamic was, but there was some element that made him a grandson. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What do we know about Mr. Pionk for the Bulldogs?
Well, it was quite unfortunate that he just happened to run into the absolute train that is Minnesota. That first game, my God, he also that game like had a brutal turnover that led to a goal at the end of the first period. Wasn't his best game, but other than that game, he's been an absolute stud for Duluth. Like right before the Minnesota weekend, he was like a point per game, getting like 5, 6, 7 shots on net, defending well, like on a Duluth team that was like putting up crazy numbers for a couple of those games too, including my boy Cole Spicer, Bruins prospect. But he's looked very, very good for Duluth. Very important player for them. He's played like half the game on that blue line. But yeah, I mean, it was tough, like really taking in the full Duluth experience against Minnesota because it was just brutal for every player. Like they got fucking annihilated on the road. That was brutal. I got to the point where I just like felt bad. But another guy that just had like such a solid start and like just I'm not really that surprised that he's fitting into college hockey like pretty seamlessly because he's one of the older players from that USHL team that he was on. I think he was playing on the same pair as what's his face.
Apologize to Mankato.
Huh? Oh, I said the USHL, older players in the USHL.
No, I'm saying apologize to Mankato.
Okay, I apologize, Mankato.
You don't even know what I'm saying, do you?
No.
Pionk was a Mankato commit, and then as soon as Hastings left, he flipped to UMD.
It's very funny.
Which it's weird that he didn't go to UMD initially. Although I think when he committed, he was a little raw still. Like he was not a guy that you looked at and said, this is like a bona fide college guy. I mean, especially with the position switch, right?
I was gonna say, well, he's been a defenseman for like 12 minutes.
Right. No, totally. I'm just saying.
I know.
Give our due to Mankato whenever we can. Fuck Wisconsin. I hope that horrible things befall them, but wow, are they good?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just every fucking year.
Fucking stupid.
It's unbelievable. But in Pionk's case, I wasn't surprised that he kind of seamlessly fit into college hockey right away. But who's the goddamn defense? Oh my God, the Blackhawks prospect. He's on Minnesota defenseman. Oh my God,
Renzel.
High school. Yes, Renzel. Yeah. They were so fun as a D pair of the USHL. Oh my God. But he either way,
he's been
Pionk's fit in.
You are all over the place, dude. I can't hear a thing you're saying. Pause. Take a deep breath.
What you said.
Wait. I think you're back almost. Okay, here we are. Continue.
I was asking you what you said. You said Renzel's been an animal?
I said he has been quite good with the Gophers. Obviously, there's been bad games for the Gophers all around, but
yeah.
Generally speaking, I like what I'm seeing there. And by the time we hit postseason hockey, he's going to matter.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And like another kid that there have been like his draft year too. Like it was like, is he a first rounder? Like the ceiling can be crazy, but then there's times where he would just make a play like, oh, Jesus, like that was why? Why'd you do that? But God, could he be a fucking animal in the Frozen Four, dude? Like there are just some plays that kid makes where you're like, holy fuck, this kid's a beast. But this isn't about him.
I gotta ask.
Pionk's been great.
I gotta ask. You're coming out here for the Frozen Four. You've promised, you've committed, and I'm curious because I know like BU and or BC is huge. It'd be sick if Gophers or another Minnesota team were in, but like, what is the perfect Frozen Four for you if you could pick it right now?
fuck. Obviously, Minnesota.
Good answer.
The Golden Gophers. I'll throw BC in there right now.
Oh, okay. So now I'm going to pause you there. I feel like for the opening matchups, you need to pick the best rival for BC, which is probably BU. Then you also have to pick probably between North Dakota and Wisconsin for who faces Minnesota in the first round.
I was going North Dakota because I still believe in that North Dakota team remaining like a top what? What are they right now? What are they ranked right now? They were like number.
They're upper single digits.
Yeah. I
think they're below the Gophers, but they're definitely still single digits. Gophers, I think.
I want to say they were 8th. I wanted to say they were 8th. Right. I feel like they're 8th. Can't remember.
They're a team that's only going to get better over the course of the season. They have so many new faces. Their entire blue line is new guys. Like, they're going to improve over the course of the season. And yes, that rivalry, whatever people from Wisconsin want to say, North Dakota, Minnesota is unmatched.
That's where I was like, I feel like with picking BC, I had to pick BU, and picking Minnesota like that. Minnesota, North Dakota is fucking electric. Every fucking game they play. Yeah, every game, like every goddamn game they play, it's just war. It is electric. Both barns are absolutely fucking rocking every game. Like, it's electric. I guess those are the 4 I'll pick.
That would be so much goddamn fun. Goddamn.
You can't lose in any matchup there. Like, you really, I mean, you want the rivalries,
I feel like if each of the Boston teams match up with one of North Dakota, Minnesota, you almost have to just like decide for the good of hockey. Like, we're actually going to shuffle this up. We're going to have the Boston teams play, and we're going to have Minnesota, North Dakota, because not a single goddamn person would complain about it.
Right. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. No,
I need it. Oh, I'm actually really excited now. Even though it probably won't even come close to happening, but
now all 4 of them will bow out round 1.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But that's college hockey.